Since we have started our encampment, over 5,000 Palestinians have been viciously murdered. Tens of thousands more are missing, diseased, maimed, and injured, all at the hands of the genocidal Israeli military that UofT funds with its investments. Shame! Today, we are departing from the People's Circle for Palestine, earlier than the 6 p.m. deadline set by the court. We refuse to give the Toronto Police Service any opportunity to brutalize us, as they have done repeatedly since October to pro-Palestinian protesters across the GTA. We are leaving on our terms to protect our community from the violence that the University of Toronto is clearly eager to unleash upon us. The same violence their cowardly campus safety officers used against us to stifle our right to protest.
After 63 days of occupying the University of Toronto's campus, the People's Circle for Palestine was taken down ahead of a deadline issued by the Ontario Supreme Court made in their injunction ruling to dismantle the encampment or have the Toronto Police Service forcibly remove it.
It was also a decision informed by a need to keep the community safe. If anyone were to be arrested, it wasn't just going to be a trespass charge, but it would be a much more serious criminal charge.
Within their injunction and in the courts, UofT said that this encampment was anti-Semitic and promoted violence. The Ontario Superior Court dismissed these allegations, clarifying that the slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," is not an anti-Semitic slogan. In his ruling, Justice Marcus Conan said that the encampment took away UofT's ability to control what happens in King's College Circle, and that there was a concern that nothing could stop a stronger group from taking over the space that the encampment inhabited.
The encampment is being painted as a magnet for bad behavior, which is in and of itself anti-Palestinian racism, to present or to frame the Palestinian liberation movement as being something that sanctions hate speech, that sanctions violence, is anti-Palestinian. We have a zero tolerance policy at this camp for any forms of violence or hate, and we have de-escalation. That is something that we center in everything that we do, and that is something that they have failed to note in their documentation for this injunction.
Agitators have been a constant threat since day one. We've seen all sorts of threats coming from all sides. And the way we deal with it typically is if these agitators are nonviolent, these people are simply there to protest, we disengage as much as we can. We simply want to have our demonstration, our protest, and we don't want to interact with these people. And if the university gave us our demands, then we wouldn't even be here to, potentially have these people come to counter-protest us. So the way we feel is that the university is solely to blame for this. If the university had given us a good deal from the beginning, we would have left on day one. The Israeli military has completely flattened entire cities. They've bombed refugee camps where people are living in tents because they've been displaced from their homes. My own family are there. I know firsthand what it's like. We get messages from them saying that they don't have any food to eat, so they're eating grass and leaves to stay alive. This is the situation that's on the ground. The fact that our university can't even say the word genocide, the fact that they refuse to say Palestine and Israel in any of their communications is disgusting.
Organizers say the threat of police violence and intimidation stems long before the injunction ruling.
When we didn't take their offer, which was not satisfactory to us, they called the Toronto Police Service to try and get us cleared. Toronto Police Services rejected them because they didn't want to deal with this PR nightmare that would be to come clear us, and then basically told them, we're only going to come in if you guys get a court order, which is why we are now fighting an injunction. Since day one, campus security have been surveilling us constantly, and I'd like to make an important note here that campus safety, as they're called, or campus security, they're just a division of the Toronto Police Service. They're policemen, they can make arrests, they call themselves safety, but they're here really as police. We've been surveilled by them constantly. They're constantly patrolling. They have cars here, even from way before the encampment started, in anticipation of something like this happening.
Special constables within UofT's campus security are granted enhanced authority by the province through the Toronto Police Services Board, giving them the same authority as a police officer while on campus. Police violence has been intensifying at pro-Palestine demonstrations across the city in recent months.
State violence is used in a very particular way in an attempt to repress this movement. Toronto Police is actually part of a program that, with the New York Police and a lot of other police departments, they essentially have exchange programs with the Israeli Defense Forces where they go to occupied Palestinian territories and learn from the IDF how to repress people, how to subjugate people, and they're using the same tactics that the IDF uses against Palestinians in the West Bank and are applying them here. We saw in 2020 where the New York police used a method of killing George Floyd, applying pressure by the knee on George Floyd's neck. That same method was used right here in Toronto. And when the video evidence came out, the Toronto police simply said nothing happened. And this is the same tactic used by the Israeli Defense Forces, where they kill people, they maim people, and then they just walk away scot-free because they're protected by the state. The Toronto police and Israeli Defense Forces are both essentially colonial attack dogs that are weaponized to quell any resistance to the status quo, resistance to the colonial order that is benefiting political and economic elites.
In a statement, UofT President Merrick Gertler said that the court order returns the front campus to the entire university community and prevents one group from possessing control over a shared space to promote a certain view. UofT did not respond to a request for comment regarding allegations that the university had been intimidating protesters with police violence. The Toronto Police Service could not respond to our request before our deadline.